Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Chrissy Sawyer here. Okay, and, without agenda, let's see what's coming in. Okay, bear with me. Oh, right, okay. Bear with me. So okay, how are you? Welcome. And how was your Christmas? And Happy New Year to you all. And I thought I'd give you one last chance to say goodbye to Santa because he'll be going. He's leaving tonight. And we will miss him. Now, between my last video and now, I've been through a colossal shift, which I've written loads about. And I didn't know whether I was going to be bringing that in. And so pulling the cards without hope or agenda, and what's come out is speaking straight into this bigger picture. And okay, let's see how far we get. I'm sorry the intro's a bit wah, but we're in that wah energy. Okay, let's just speak this through then. So I've been feeling into the current energy, and 2022, 23 and 24 are quantum shift years. So 2022, thought I had my notepad here. 2022 is going to be vibrating at the energy of the 6, which is the chalice, the Grail, the heart. And the 2 energy is about sensitivity and distinction. And what I'm feeling into is one of the questions that's going to be on our radar is the distinction between feelings and emotions. So this quantum shift is about transcending the ego in a really big way. And being shown everything that keeps you pinned to the ego. So the big question is about attachment to self-concept. So my concept of self is ego. And when we're in that egoic state of what defines us and identifies us, that will push the ego into hunger for more, and the ego will chase more. So when we're in this more energy, this striving to be, insert words here, we're in our ego. And that's going to be massively challenged in this 2 energy. So I kind of see the 2 as this soft feminine curve that drops down into this linear masculine. The feminine dropping into the masculine, straight line, curved line. And so for me, there's, and let me just try and, sorry, it's going to be a scrap of paper. This is what, when I was tuning in, this is what I saw. So this is what I saw with the 2022, is if the 2022 forms the Grail, the cup of the heart, then it's going to ask the question of what am I pouring into my heart? Okay, so 6 energy is kind of make a decision. It's lover's energy. It is about choices, and the 2 is all about the choices. The 2 can throw us into extremes. The 2 can throw us into our emotions. But this phase is about transcending the emotional self, because the universe, the cosmos, wants to communicate through feeling, and feeling can be as subtle as feeling that breeze across the skin and coming right back into the moment. To be able to come right back into the moment and witness is transcending the ego, because when we come back in, normally what the ego will want to do is identify that and compartmentalize it and maybe give it a value of good, bad, right, wrong. But when we transcend that, we come right into the here now moment. And in the here now moment is everything and nothing. Everything and nothing. This is void. Okay. So it's like we've got this wonderful sensitivity pouring into the cup. Okay. So we've got 2 and 2, and this is the 4 of the structure. So we're building the new structure. And since that December eclipse, my whole life has changed, I've got to say. I feel like a different person. I feel less, just less. It's still a journey for me, but I sense this next 3 years is going to be the dissolution of self. I don't know what that's going to look like. And it is what it is, but it's letting go of egoic attachment to self, egoic attachment to anything and everything. I'm just noticing as I'm speaking into this, how the picture is lagging. I'm just noticing that because I'm plugged straight into Wi-Fi here. And so the first 2 cards are the Council of Light and the Crumbling. I'm going to go to my notes and I'm just going to pick out a few words. I don't want to drop you into a reading coma. Okay. So if we talk in terms of the next 3 years, and I'll know more when I know more, it's about having a complete experience. What do I mean by that? So I was talking with someone recently about disappointment and how disappointment, along with so many other negative, you see how the ego sorts, negative emotions are interrupted, and they are interrupted to run from, autocorrect, adapt, sanitize, or bury. Okay, as the ego identified self wants to appear in some way that doesn't look disappointed. So when we have the full experience of disappointment, it's because we're in witness state. So let's say that breeze across the skin is disappointment. And when we move into noticing, there is no ego. And in the noticing, we allow ourselves to fully experience what we call disappointment. It's a very different experience to, I don't want to feel like this, wrestle, fight, conflict, battle. When we battle ourselves, we battle the whole universe. So good luck with that. This is about the road less traveled, but it's about the path of least resistance. So it's passivity. Look at all those 2s, the feminine 2. It's passivity, it's receptivity, sensitivity, very fine energy. And we've got Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces. It doesn't get any more cosmic. And it's 11:11. Okay, right now it's 11:11. I've got the Jackson 5 singing, can you feel it? Right, okay. Complete experience, disappointment without correction, disappointment without filtering or normalization. It's okay to be fully disappointed. And the same can be said for any of our complex emotions. It's the journey through the emotions to the truth of our sensory perception. Sensory perception without emotion is how we dance with active intelligence. It's our passport into the void. Okay. When inner peace is no longer contingent upon our outer experience, that is the spiritual spine being strengthened. When it becomes constant in all things, it's the dropping of our want. So if you hear yourself using language, I'm going to put these away now because there's loads of notes, but I don't want to read them all out. So when you hear yourself talking about what you want, you are coming from a place of lack. When you're talking about something you want, have you acknowledged all that you have in that moment? When you're talking about a place of want, can you fully acknowledge what is missing before you go to that place of want? Because the ego is reaching all the time, reaching for the next deadline, the next bonus, the next win. It's an addiction. I call it destination addiction because it never really arrives. Not in the heart, not where you can feel the richness and fecundity of it, not where you can appreciate your hard work in the getting there. It's okay to get there. But do we all know too many people who are successful and not enriched? It's like this soul hunger. And in all this two energy, I'm going to put a sense before this. I sense, and I have no way to prove it, but feeling into this new energy since the eclipse, and this is personal to me, but I'm sharing it because the collective has come straight into my personal. Bear with me. So we had the eclipse, and then what did we have? Was it the equinox? No, it was on the eclipse. And I had a big meeting, big meeting with my soul self on a level I've never experienced before. I think I talked about it in a previous video. And since then, I've been working with myself, my soul, my bridge. And as I feel into that, I think that seat of the soul energy has bonded with the heart. Think, sense. I don't know it, K-N-O-W, but that's what it feels like in me. Like my soul has bonded with my heart space. Some stunning energies around at the moment, I have to say, very sensitive. And if you are sensitive and maybe haven't done your shadow work, it might throw you into some back and forth. So a two energy, somebody with a lot of twos in their chart, strong two energy in their chart, a two out of balance is a kind of bipolar energy. You're either up or you're down, there's nothing in the middle. So it can bring in extremes, it can trigger emotions. And depending on what level of your journey, where you are on your journey, it can take you into a deeper level of sensitivity. Perception is priestess energy. Okay. All right, well, I can see where this is going then. Okay. So the underlying card, I'm going to read these to you again, just feel into them. And the awakening, you see, we use these terms so much, they just become, they go over the top. But the waking is waking to self as you've never known yourself. So we have the crumbling. What are you clinging to? Okay, so this is really going to challenge the ego state. And I'll go so far as to say it's going to challenge what we're willing to die on the cross to. Okay? Because that resurrection energy is about burning the ego, really burning the ego, feeling into that disappointment. That's an ego wound. Disappointment, rejection is an ego wound. Embarrassment is an ego wound. Okay? Abandonment is more of a soul wound. More of a soul wound. It's more about missing the soul family, feeling shut out, 5 energy. Okay. Soul family. That was just lying on the bottom of the deck. So we have this crumbling, this tower energy. And what's coming through is this void. So we're calling it the Council of Light, but it's void energy. It's the made and the unmade in the same moment. It's the good and bad in the same moment. Because what we're transcending in transcending the ego is duality. This is coming into the oneness. That's how quantum these next 3 years are going to be. It's coming back into the oneness and the nothingness, the all and the nothing. It's beautiful. It's called samadhi. Samadhi. Yeah. So a new way of being. I'm doing some workshops with local government. And I'm working with such a beautiful group of people. And since workshop number 1, we're at workshop number 3 at the moment. So since workshop number 1, this question has been circulating. And it's a question I set to the group and it won't go away. And it's something like, am I truly open to letting go of everything I think I know about myself? So when I talk to people about, I know years ago I was talking to some people about aligning the inner masculine and feminine energies and bringing them into harmony, reconciliation, if that's what's needed. And their response was, oh, I don't want to do that work within because it means I won't have a partner. So that's codependency. That's looking to be rescued, looking to be completed by something outside of the self. But this is everything. This is the book, the textbook. It's all within. And the more that we let go of knowingness, information, inform. What about in spirit, inspired? Cathedral, spire, crown. Okay, inspired. Well, when inspiration starts coming in, then you might start getting some amazing ideas, like crazy ideas. What's that going to challenge? That's going to challenge your group, isn't it? It's going to challenge whether you belong in that group anymore. It's going to challenge whether you get fully met in that group. It might ask you, were you ever fully met in that group? Or is it the pretender, the egoic pretender, smiling, but full of disappointment? So all that kind of stuff is going to be called into question. Wherever we lean on the external and we don't lean on the internal, all of that's going to be called into question. Why? Because, you know, it's all changing, and it's changing on a structural level now. Cap, Taurus, Pluto, structures falling away for the next 2-3 years. Okay. This is it. Yeah, absolutely. Wow, these cards are just coming straight off the bottom of the deck. Okay. So Again, forget this. Okay, now I am an anarchist and an iconoclast because I seem to have known since I was a little girl that all of these names and archetypes are just structures to come in and just rest into and process, okay, and lift up. When they start defining us, then the mind is stuck. Okay, definition. Define, infine me. Do not define me. So why I'm sharing this card is it's talking about seeding the light. Okay. The light has no agenda. But how will I know what it's the ego? The light has no agenda. We anthropomorphize the light. The universe has got your back. Is it? Have you got your back? You are the universe. And so when you know that, because you've released the ego and your relationship with duality, when you know that, you have your back and you will seed the light because you know what to do. So trust. Wouldn't be surprised if the trust card comes out today. Laying foundations. So that's going to be happening this year in the chalice holding that, the structure for the new foundation, with the 2 and the 0 coming in, the cosmos and the sensitivity coming into that cup. That's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Divine plan. Keep going. I'm drawn to the surrender cards first. Make me giggle. I could end the reading there. And there's no hurry here, guys. This energy is feeling like it's going to be here for 3 years. And it's just the stepping stone energy. So there's no rush here to do anything. There's no rush for anything. If anybody wanted to be a mystic in this life, if you start now, you won't be too late because the energy is so fine. Surrender to your soul's path. Heaven help us. Your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson. Thank you. Embrace every lesson and every moment. So I'm talking about passivity. And where we fight the lessons is where we're done good to or done bad to. It's the ego's way of measuring. And what that does is it takes us out of witness. It takes us out of noticing. So when change comes, as change surely will this year. So 2s are, it's a sensitivity and making the choice, isn't it? So as the choice comes, where are you coming from? What's your motivation in that? If any part of that motivation is how others are going to see you or how it affects your bottom line, drop it. Start again. Embrace every lesson and every moment. Lovely. And the other one that came out. I love her mask. Get out of your head and feel the fire in your belly. Focus on the people or activities that ignite your passion and let it flow. Somebody recently described rest as a waste of time. That's how stuck in the mind some of the collective are. And there's no judgment there, because it might be that, you know, parents have defined rest. And rest is when the body heals, FYI. They've defined rest as a waste of time. But that's done. I mean, generally, schooling, working, doing, which created this kind of exhaustion and spiritual hunger, because our relationship with rest, generally, not that good. Why? Because to truly rest raises a question about self-worth. Because if you're calling it a waste of time, then you're not worthy of it. And you're all worthy. Bless your beautiful souls. We're all worthy. And it took me a year to learn to rest. A whole year. Months just to sit my ass down. Sit. Stop. It's that. Can you feel that arrival? When you stop, drop into yourself. Surrender to the soul's path. Can't believe these cards. Beautiful. Surrender to what is. This is being in the moment. Flow with what is, flow state. Instead of fighting it, naming it, judging it, shaming it, whatever else ego wants to do with that moment, just observe it. It's a real letting go, real letting go. And that will call into question your relationship with absence. What's your relationship with absence? Do you want to fill that space immediately? Does the ego want to come in and pop some equation in there to make it important or relevant, whatever? What if it's all irrelevant? Can you live with that? What if it's all a game? When you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. So we circle back to the complete experience. The complete experience is as you encounter a situation, when the mind is being trained not to come in and fight because the spirit is rising, you will allow yourself the compassion of allowing that situation to move through you, okay? And there'll kind of be this conglomerate energy of emotions and feelings. Feelings are distinct from emotions. Feelings are about the somatic process. But as time goes on, you'll start to, know one from the other. Ego tends to be attached to emotion. Feeling is just a feeling. So being with what is in the moment. Can you feel how passive this is? There's nothing to do. I know. Bam! There's the trust. Trust. It's the trust in what you don't yet know. You don't yet know. We don't yet know. Am I on my right path? Yep. Exactly where you need to be. Next. Oh, brilliant, brilliant guidance. Surrender to trust. Trust yourself, obviously, in your decisions. Do not be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what to do. So this is the codependency of tell me what to do. This is the dependency within, totally dependent. You are totally dependent. upon yourself. And in that, you are totally dependable. Imagine that. Oh. Be confident. Be confident you've chosen the right path. Lol. Confidence comes straight out of worth. Confidence has nothing to do with esteem. Esteem is ego. Confidence is worth. That's interesting. Yeah. I think I said in my last video, gosh, what a beautiful card. So I would extend what I said in my last video about the change being from outer authority, please define me, to inner authority. Nobody defines me. And I want to stretch that over this period because it's going to be a nice, it's going to be a transition. Okay. So you've probably heard me talk about self-managing leadership and the autonomy. It's wow. It's like an autonomy within the collective, unique and enfamilied. I'm sorry, it's just the word I heard. Enfamilied. So how do we move with a collective? How do we move in a collective and be able to hold ourselves? So I spoke earlier about, and are you being fully met in that? Let me go a stage further. This is the advanced level. If you are not being fully met in your collective, is that about you? Do you take responsibility for others' inability to meet you, and do you adjust and contort and become a shape that would suddenly go, oh, I see you now, great. Would you stay who you are and handle it? And handle it. It's the building of integrity and resilience and strength. And it depends where you are on your journey. Okay, there's no good, bad. There's nobody's better than anybody else. This might be my Venus card, Sanctuary. So, single-pointed focus is the witness. It's the witness. It's wide awake to everything. Everything. Metaphysical universe, quantum field. Awake. And the sanctuary can be as simple as just wanting to be in a cave for a wee while, just to really, really develop your into me I see. This personal intimacy. Because if we can't be with ourselves, we cannot be with anybody, not in peace. When we've mastered achieving personal peace and staying in that space, sitting in the middle of a tornado, life gets infinitely simpler. So yes, focus. Okay, thank you. And focus on the purity, because the purity transcends the ego. Purity, if we imagine purity as the cosmos, without agenda, without duality, without ego, that's what we're building. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing how far we've come? Wow. Let's start wrapping this up. I need to go. These cards. Beautiful. Celebrate your magnificence as the universe to begin with. I was once having a conversation with a religious man, deeply religious. Most of his narrative was straight from the Bible. But he had this majesty. He was a big, strong man with a beautiful code of ethics that was being clouded with all this religious narrative that was keeping him small. And he wasn't reaching into his magnificence. And we were talking about God. And I said, how does that apply then if you are God? He left about 5 minutes after. The ego came straight in. The ego could not conceive of a concept as expansive, magnificent as that. Can you? And again, we come back to that question. Can I truly conceive of a me? I need to get the question. It's coming in as 2 questions now. Can I truly conceive of a me that didn't exist before? Okay, that's a new version. How open am I to letting go of everything I think I know about myself? Okay. So there was a card earlier, wasn't there, about taking the lessons, accepting the lessons passively. In this birthing energy, seeing love in disguise is a great, great lesson for us that will really help us grow. Especially when we get triggered emotionally, right? So your emotions are your past. Feelings are present. So when we see love in disguise, that's lovely. This is lovely. So what I'm seeing is kind of, it's like an egg. It's like a cosmic egg being birthed. Connected to source, birthing. But in the birth, there has to be a simultaneous death, and there might have to be many little deaths. And in those little deaths, it might be that part of the programming takes us into victim. And we might go into that life is happening to me narrative. And we might forget that this is love in disguise. It's lifting us up, it's clearing us out. Okay. And here we have seeding that cup again. And 2, 1, 3. Go, grow, glow. So seeds of intention. Intention, well, I put a healthy question mark over intentions and planning, and it feels like it's all going to go out the window, because if we're talking about this 3-year phase and we call it a training program, then the training program might be to become a conduit for higher intelligence. If I put it really simply, to be a channel, to become a channel. And so the whole planning, push, drive, strive program, that masculine creative energy, must be let go of, because it's got us this far and we're in a mess. We're not thriving, let me put it that way. So it might be that sometimes seeds come in, thoughts, channelings, meditations, dreams, songs, stray conversation that makes you go, ooh. And we're building, if you imagine you're building a web, So you won't know. The ego will want to know immediately, what was that seed and where do I put it? What's that going to grow into? And how can I write the 5-year cash flow forecast for it? Oh, it's interesting. Put that in my seed bag. Carry on. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. This statement is talking about the absence of resistance. So the ego might tell us chopping wood and carry water is a lowly job. I don't want people seeing me do that. Okay. After enlightenment, chopping wood, carrying water, there is no resistance. This is grace. Grace. To chop wood, carry water, stay connected to spirit. Okay. So see the love in disguise. We're breaking down an awful lot of patterning here that we haven't done for the last 2 years. And this is on a higher level. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Let's have a cheeky abundance card and then I am definitely off ski. She says. It feels like a year since I've been here. It's like ages. Okay, would you like to close this meeting? Yep. Yeah, limitless, infinite. Wow, beautiful. See yourself open. Open. To receive in the most miraculous ways. The divine can use anything and anyone. Right. They just showed me a picture of a hairbrush there. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. A picture of a hairbrush. Okay. That's the second one. Sorry. Awakening and awakening. Double awakening. Yeah. Wake me from life as a spiritual sheep. And what I see in there as being spiritually asleep. Wake me from being spiritually asleep. I will hear you through my instincts and common sense. Right. Thank you. I didn't quite know where that card came in. Passion, gut, instinct, feeling, not emotion. Lovely. Short for sharp. Oh, fun, blimmin-tastic. Here we go. Are you strapped in tight? The ego learns what is hardest. Stop trying to control the universe. Intention, this is delusion. Intention without surrender can be a fast path to delusion. Love, love, love. Yeah. Tons of courage. Again, it's about pushing a little bit further, reaching a little bit further into that 2 energy, a little bit further into extremes of actually, how brave am I? How brave am I? I'm going to go a little bit further today. Right. What am I going to call this video? What on earth can I call this video? I don't know. I'll figure something out. Right, guys, I have to go. I love you and I thank you for being here. And I'll see you when I do. Much love. Take care. Bye-bye.